into uncharted territories. Space is boundless and infinite. There are countless possibilities for research and development outside the Earth. Outer space is an important source of excess capital, a site of knowledge production and technological innovation, and a potential reservoir of untapped raw materials. The law relating to space is primarily dealt with in the Outer Space Treaty 1967, which is the Magna Carta of space law. It is general knowledge that this instrument is drafted with the object of ensuring the use of outer space for peaceful purposes. Although this is spelled out clearly in the treaty, the term peaceful purposes is not defined in unambiguous terms, and the treaty contains only a limited weapon ban in outer space. Similarly, regarding the exploration and exploitation of resources, the Outer Space Treaty has established that there does exist freedom and exploration and use, however, not limitless. According to the preamble of the Outer Space Treaty, there is a common interest of all mankind in the progress of use of outer space, whereas such use should be carried on for the benefit of all peoples, irrespective of the degree of their economic or scientific development. In today's world, we have the numerous missions to conquer different areas of space undertaken by both governments as well as private actors in space. The concept of commercialization and militarization is the emerging trend these days, which, in the absence of a concrete system of laws, can easily fall apart and create chaos. This new emergence of commercialization by the private actors in space is ultimately the establishment of capitalism in outer space as well. The emergence of capitalism is introduced when private actors set up their power over the unexplored land. The exploration, exploitation, or colonization of outer space, including planets, asteroids, and other celestial bodies, will not be for the benefit of humankind as such, but for the benefit of particular capitalist entrepreneurs who stand in for and represent humanity. What happens here is a tendency where there is maximum profit and minimum governmental interference. The main economic uses of outer space activities and the tools of earning money out of these activities is by launching satellites and improving telecommunications. Currently, we have observational satellites and espionage satellites which are used for military purposes, and national satellites, which is the most commonly known modern form of satellites, which brings a lot of money in this sector. The future economic uses of outer space activities are mainly with respect to the transportation sector, whereby the prospect of space tourism is being foreseen. The question as to access remains intact with respect to the common man. The idea is for humans to be able to get a feel of zero gravity and experience space. Through more private actors in outer space, we have to address a lot of circumstances. The increase in danger of collision because of the presence of multi satellites is a major concern. The governance of such activities is mainly through treaties. For example, the Outer Space Treaty, soft law principles, which are guidelines to be followed by spacefaring countries but which are not binding, and national regulations governed by the respective countries, such as US National Space Policy. On principle, the Outer Space Treaty allows private actors to conduct space activities. It allows what billionaires like Elon Musk does. But it is to be ensured that there is effective national regulations which gives the appropriate permission to carry on such a business. It is such a huge responsibility of the respective governments. A general understanding of Article 7 of the Outer Space Treaty gives us that For any space activity, either through the government or by a private enterprise, the state is internationally liable for such acts. Hence, the Outer Space Treaty alone is not exactly sufficient in respect of human spaceflight activities, and there is a need to come up with additional regulations. The problem of opening up a space sector to private players in a country like India is that we need effective policies that address a multitude of issues regarding sustainability, economic viability, and space traffic management. The Space Policy and the Space Activities Bill is going to be introduced in India very soon, which hopefully addresses these issues. However, the question remains as to why such a bill has not been passed till date and how the government was set to open up the space sector to private actors before passing such a bill. The liability of the state concerning private actors in space is not to be taken lightly, and even space giants like the US have ensured that there are national policies for regulating outer space activities. Even as we speak of commercial uses of outer space, the problems as to military uses need to be addressed. Space has been explored extensively for peaceful and commercial purposes for the benefit of all across the globe. However, military planners, on the other hand, are focused on militarization, tending to weaponization of space in order to establish their supremacy over the other military users of space. Weapons could be permanently placed outside the Earth's atmosphere and then, on a signal from the Earth, bombard target bases and cities. India has successfully showcased its military prowess by launching the ASAT in 2019 mission Shakti. Hence, it is to be noted that our country has joined the other spacefaring nations such as US, China, and Russia, who have also placed their weapons in outer space, leading to the prospect of militarization and weaponization of outer space. Yes, the term space weaponry is so broad that it could include nearly anything from jammers to lasers and physical ASAT weapons. And so India would be a contributor along with the other space giants to such a prospective space warfare. However, while India has not violated any international treaty or understanding and it was merely a response to already existing military dominance, the same cannot be expected of other countries who will very well be ready to exhibit their prowess now that India has marked its presence in space, ultimately leading to space warfare. Confronting the issues which are a threat to the present day world is the preliminary step in order to ensure a legal system that maintains the peaceful use of outer space and assists the principle of preventing an arms race in outer space. Arguments related to more liberalism in the field of international space law needs to slowly die down, and the understanding that there is a requirement for proactive regulation needs to be made aware. We still see a number of gaps as to sustainability and space traffic management. The main question that needs to be asked is whether the national regulators are willing to adopt adequate rules in order to support and facilitate space activities in a sustainable, eco friendly manner when they expand privatization. The countries who take stuff up to space should ultimately be willing to clean it up because, frankly, we already have destroyed the earth. There is no proper law to guide, even in the international scenario, and governments should really not promote non sustainable space activities. Finally, there is an evident crisis with respect to lawmaking in the space sector, as it is highly difficult to put forth new international regimes which are binding. If it is not possible to get the support of all countries with respect to legally binding principles, one may hope that soft law principles emerge by way of some rules, which become a code of conduct, which eventually turns into customary law over time. This article was written by Shilpa.